One at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Good evening, everyone. Jet Central. This is going to be a very interesting show, my friend. Very, very interesting show, because we have not fought in 94 episodes, I think it is now. There's a pretty good chance we're going to argue tonight.
What makes you say that?
Because you're probably the most positive Jet fan that I know, and you always try to find the bright side in things and look at the opportunities like that. And I'm in the doom and gloom kind of mood because I'm still pissed off 2 days later from this debacle on Sunday. And it's interesting, man, because, I mean, I'm just shocked we're here. I'm shocked at what we saw. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. I'm aggravated. And the last thing I want to honestly hear is excuses. I don't want to hear them, because what they did on Sunday in week 2 is inexcusable on every friggin' level. It's inexcusable. And then to watch how he handled it afterwards was even more disappointing. So to me, there's a lot of more questions than answers, because the league's like a week by week, league. You react by what your last performance was, and it was dreadful. So I'm still annoyed, to be honest with you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Jet fan, how could you not be annoyed? You know what I mean? I mean, first of all, you're 0-2. It is what it is. A lot of people expected the Jets to be 0-2, but I think it's more so just the fashion in how the Jets lost. There's nothing to write home offensively about. There's nothing on defense outside of like Juwan Briggs having a breakout game. Special teams, nothing. Adjusting, not really anything. Quarterback performance, not really anything. Game plan, press conferences afterwards, just very weird. Yeah, no, I mean, Sunday sucked. Bottom line.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you have we have the tape. The tape is in there. I met with Coach Glenn. It's all taken care of. The thing is, like, all we're looking for is progress, development, and a team we could be proud of, and a team that competes week in and week out. That's all. Like, our standards are low, dude. We're saying win 5 or 6 games, this and that. I was literally embarrassed on Sunday, and by the third quarter, I was done. I checked out. I'm like, you know what? I've seen this before. And what made it even worse is that I talked to Fireman Ed last night. He was telling me, he's like, on the sideline, third and fourth quarter, they were lifeless. They were like monitored. Like, they were the same team we saw at the end of last year that already gave up and quit. And that bothered me even more in week 2, where it's like, that's not a culture change. That just reiterates this team does not know how to win, and they need a tremendous amount of leadership to get them out of all the bad things they've learned over the last 3 or 4 years. Because it's just awful, dude. Like, the culture changes take a long time, dude. Take a lot longer than some press conferences and a hard training camp.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. It's I think it's just going to be one of those seasons where it's just a lot to clean up. It's one of the reasons why Jets fans wanted a leader to be the head coach of this football team. No one was suggesting Arthur Smith. No one was suggesting the Vance Josephs of the world. No one was suggesting Matt Nagy. It was the Aaron Glenn's, the Brian Flores, the Mike Vrabel. And then you had like the unrealistic options, like trade for Mike Tomlin, stuff like that. Or like wait to see if Stefanski gets fired. So, I mean, lots of Jets fans have been talking about it for months on end. Really, from, probably the start of last season up until the point where Glenn was hired. It's like, we need someone to come in and who's capable to handle this crap culture, clean it up. It's not going to be this overnight thing where, all the dysfunction's gone within a training camp. It's going to take time. And on one hand, it sucks just as a fan, like witnessing it. But then on the other, it's like, what really was the expectation for the culture to be fixed like that,
But okay, well, let's think about this. We knew we knew what Xavier Gibson was. He got cut last week. We knew what Michael Clemens was going into the season. If you watch the tape, we watched the tape last year. We know what the player he was. We know what he does. And I tell you, I swear to God, ask anybody. On that 3rd and 19 penalty, when the penalty was thrown, I knew exactly what it was. I'm like, let me guess, roughing the passer on Michael Clemens. I knew exactly what it was. And lo and behold, he gets the penalty. Boom. Huge play. And he's back in the next series. Is that accountability? No. Where's the accountability there? Where's that, tough-ass Aaron Glenn? It's not there. What's the reason? Oh, we don't have depth at defensive end. Whose fault is that? It's your fault. Right? Dude, we talked about this the entire preseason.
So, so first off, real quick, is my internet okay? Because it's kind of choppy on my end listening. I don't know if that's me or,
I think it's yours.
What StreamYard maybe. Okay, yeah, so you can see and hear me okay?
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, to me at least, we had a ton of needs. We fixed some of them. We addressed some of them. You can never just go right down, because the frustration that we all have with depth, I think is, it's the same exact way on the offensive side of the football with wide receiver, man. Outside of Garrett Wilson, like it's very, very, very thin. Like, God forbid Garrett goes down. God forbid Jermaine Johnson has to miss time, and now Clemens is going to be a starter for 2 months. Like that.
And that's what's happening now, though.
Fly.
And now Jermaine Johnson's hurt. Next man up is Michael Clemens, the guy that shouldn't be on the team. He's a below average defensive lineman. Like, what exactly does he bring to the table, making him so valuable to this team? And where's the accountability? Was he taken out? Is there any kind of punishment for a stupid penalty? They try to justify it when it's the same thing he did last year. Like Aaron Glenn, they did double talk on Sunday. His press conference was embarrassing, dude. It really was. And then it's just good. You go.
No, just a question I got to ask you. If you because I'm right there with you, right? My first instant reaction is take Clemens out. Take Clemens out. We've seen this story over and over and over. It would be one thing if it was a first down, if it was on a second down, but no, it comes on a 3rd and 18 where the Jets actually held them.
Yep.
Like the Jets actually made the play. And then, of course, we get the flag. And I saw a couple of people talking about like, oh, Josh Allen flopped. That's not the point. The point is Clemens is always in these situations. And again, my first reaction was take him out. We've seen this story again over and over. It's probably going to happen again at some point this season if he continues to get playing time. But then the next question is, okay, well, who am I going to put out there instead? Braden McGregor, Tyler Barron, are those guys ready to play? And so it's just like,
whose fault is that though? So let's keep doing dumb things because we don't trust the talent behind a bad player. That's ridiculous. Aaron Glenn last week said, I got to hold my players accountable. If you make plays that hurt us, you're not going to be around. Then what was he doing? What was that play? The same thing we saw last year, right? And he's still in the game. And in the press conference, he kind of justified, well, it wasn't that bad. But no, what?
Yeah, I know, dude. I know.
He talked the talk, and now he's not walking it. In many aspects. Just that, the one thing. And then tell me, on that 4th and 1, with 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, you're down 20, and you don't go for it is ridiculous. That dude, don't tell me you agree with the punt there. There's no way you agree with that punt there.
Are you talking about the punt situation or the field goal?
Both. Well, the field goal pissed me off too, but I'm like, you know what? You want to be conservative, put points on the board. I understand it. I don't like it. The end of the 3rd quarter, 7 minutes left. You're down 20, 4th and 1. I think you're on like 29-yard line, 28-yard line, and he punted. To me, I thought that was a move.
Yeah.
That was a bitch move, dude. You act all tough. Your team is demoralized. And what do? You go with the flow. We're getting our ass kicked. Let me be conservative and put no life into my team and no confidence in my team and punt the ball. That's some Todd Bowles stuff, dude. He did so many things in this game. They did so many things that reminded me of Bowles, Gase, all the things we hated, we saw on Sunday.
Yeah, well, so to answer your question, I agree. I actually agreed with kicking the field goal because I think it's just important to get points on the board in that situation. But when they followed it, later on in the game, the play that you're referencing, I definitely would have went for it there. And, hindsight's 2020, but I think most Jets fans are looking at the situation saying, if we punt this, the game's over. The defense was not capable of stopping the Buffalo Bills running attack. It just simply wasn't. Like 25 first downs they gave up. Buffalo controlled time of possession. They were able to run the ball. What did they give up? 220 something yards on the ground. Josh Allen's numbers were pedestrian, but Buffalo ran the Jets out of their own building. So yeah, like at that point, it's just like, because I was watching the game with my brother, my girlfriend, who are both Bills fans, and as soon as the punt team came running out, my brother started packing his stuff. And it's just like, dude, this is over, man. Like, if you guys aren't even going to go for it here, this is
that's the tone he set for his team, though. He conceded, he gave up right there, and you saw this team start to quit in the third and fourth quarter. In the second week of the season, they started quitting and mailing it in. That's your culture change. That's the fight. That's what you want to see. How this team is supposed to be believing this whole new culture. I didn't see anything of that. And it's only week 2. I understand it's only week 2. But this is your first impression for your new coach, and this is what you're showing us at home against a division rival, a complete no-show performance. There's nothing good about that, dude. And like, we can go back to the offense for a second. You look at the play calls, which were conservative at best. Justin Fields was terrible, completely. I'm telling you, his first throw when he missed Garrett Wilson wide open, I'm like, oh God, I'm like, he's off. And I started thinking back to like, it's not kind of like the Zach Wilson days. Like, well, if he starts off, he's going to be off the entire game. And that made me kind of freak out. Then you have the Clemens penalty they score. Then Fields fumbles. And I'm like, here we go. The game was over. I think I texted you. I'm like, game over. I'm like, we've seen this. Like, this team is just spiraling out of control, and nobody found a way to rally them because the quarterback couldn't do it. And this is the Jekyll and Hyde of Justin Fields, which drives you crazy. And what I started to wonder about, and I understand it's only week 2, is that my fear is, well, he may not even play this Sunday, is that we may not know what Tanner Engstrand's offense is if Justin Fields can't effectively run it. It reminded me back with LaFleur and Zach Wilson. When Zach got hurt, everybody else came in. Mike White, Flacco, Josh Johnson, putting up 400 yards a game, 300 yards a game. Zach Wilson came in, well, there we go, grounded pound at only 100 yards. My fear all of a sudden was we may not really see what Engstrand is because the quarterback may not let him be who he is.
Yeah, it's a good point, but I think the key difference there is the Jets took a flyer on Fields, whereas Wilson was the second overall pick, and right out of the gate, just not really put in the best position. He's just anointed. Okay, you're the starting quarterback. We're not going to give you a veteran. You're our savior. Please save us. Sam Darnold couldn't do it. Can you now save us? Just like the ridiculous situation that the Jets constantly put themselves in when it comes to drafting and developing quarterbacks. With Fields, you always kind of felt like, okay, he has potential, he has arm strength, he has mobility, he's a great runner, but there's a chance that he doesn't work out. And who knows, maybe he does work out, maybe he doesn't. I think it's just trying to find the consistency, and it is a long season. But no, I think I think you made a really good point about, Mike LaFleur's offense, kind of like his view from around the league. Like, other teams really liked Mike LaFleur. Other teams really liked Mike LaFleur's offense. It didn't sound like Saleh wanted to fire Mike LaFleur, but someone just had to take the blame, and it's not going to be the second overall pick that Joe Douglas just made. So it's like, if it's not going to be Saleh, it's not going to be Douglas, it's not going to be Wilson, someone's going, it's going to be LaFleur. And then he's picked up, I believe, almost immediately by the LA Rams.
Yep.
In any case, yeah, like that is your fear, right? That Fields can't go out the system, to its degree, but at least when the Jets come to that that full on realization, I'm hoping that they have the self-awareness to say, this isn't working, we're going to move on. Even if Tyrod Taylor plays this week against Tampa, right? I'm going to be at that game. If he goes out there and holds down the fort, looks okay, he's not turning the football over, maybe he's similar to like Justin Fields in week 1, I have no problem at all just sticking with Tyrod, right? I don't want to have this. I do. One of the biggest mistakes that I felt like Saleh made in his 3.5 years with the Jets was when Mike White was rolling, right? And you just felt like the players loved it. They're rocking the Mike White t-shirts. The fans were behind it. I remember like NFL.com, like the NFL page was like hyping Mike White up, like, oh my God, 400 plus yards, like first appearance, like this is awesome. And then as soon as Zach was ready, it's nope, Zach's team. We're going back to Zach. And then we end the season and he's not brought back. Why? Because, well, they're concerned with Zach's feelings.
Yep.
Yeah, competition. And,
yep.
You don't want to have this, ongoing storyline. No, Zach's the guy. He was the investment. With Fields, it's just kind of like, okay, 2 years. Glenn didn't draft him. It was a favorable deal. They're not in a position like
completely
Cousins.
disagree. I completely disagree with you because I think they spent enough money on him and the way they spoke about him, like the reclamation project, buying into him, building the offense around him. I look at the way Aaron Glenn treats him in the goddamn press conference. They baby him. But he doesn't hold him accountable in the press conference. After that game, it's very easy to say. They had I almost cursed again. They had 2 completed passes at halftime. You know what you say in your post-game press conference? Our quarterback sucked. He's got to be a lot better. Don't baby it. Don't, the offense. No, talk about your freaking quarterback. He was terrible. Dude, 2 completed passes, 3 in the third quarter. Can you imagine, like, what's his face have more passing yards? Trubisky on one play.
Yeah.
How does Aaron Glenn act like he's going to hold people accountable and then give us that nonsense in a press conference? My question is this. At any point, did he consider benching Justin Fields playing that terribly? I understand it's week 2, but are you going to tell us you go for the best chance to win? Or are you going to talk about, I got to trust my quarterback, Justin Fields, when he can't complete a friggin' 8-yard pass?
This game really felt like to me, it just felt like gosh, how should I maybe say this? Like the inexperience was on full display. I mean,
the coaches,
like you coach,
yep,
for everybody, yeah, but specifically for the coaches.
Yep.
So you coach fighters, right? Mm-hmm. You're working with different people. I'm sure you got older clients, you got younger clients, you got people that have been doing it for a long time, vets, you got whatever, kids starting up for the first time. This game to me felt like, just to give you a cool example, or a relevant example, like a new kid fresh off the block is interested in fighting. He gets his chance and he goes up against an absolute beast in the ring or octagon. I'm not sure, boxing, or is it
all of them, cages, ring? I do it all.
Yeah, he gets rocked in the face and is stumbling around, not knowing what to do, despite the training, despite maybe potential moving forward, but he's just out. He's out coach, or he's just out of his league. And I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, that's okay, no problem. Obviously, it's not okay.
Yep.
But that's just what it felt like to me watching this game. Just a young rookie coach with a young rookie offensive coordinator. Things go south early. I mean, what could go wrong did go wrong. Like how that game started out was awful. Like you receive 3 and out with the missed throw, and it's like, okay, like I know you were pissed about it, but in my head I'm like, all right, quarterbacks miss throws all the time. It is what it is. We're 13 minutes left in the first quarter. We have plenty of time. Buffalo gets the ball back, right down the field, touchdown. Jets get the ball back. Bosa makes this crazy play where he comes up behind Fields, knocks the ball out. Bills ball. I got my brother looking at me, smiling. I'm like, dude, we can't be doing this, bro. I was at the game last year, Jets Bills. What was it, 40-0, 40-3 at one point? Mm-hmm. Rodgers was horrific. The entire Jets roster was awful. I'm sitting there like, I understand that Josh is great and the Bills are good, but not again. We cannot be doing this again. And so the Bills get the ball back on the fumble recovery and they get a field goal. Jets get the ball back. We have the stupid trick play that goes backwards for 10 after a couple positive plays, which killed the drive. Ball goes right back to Buffalo. More points. Couple drives. Jets have a drive. Bills have a drive. On that Bill drive, they get more points. So you look up and it's 20-0, and it's just like, dude, you're in such a big hole early against a great team with a bunch of rookie coaches. They just got stuck in the mouth and they're just stumbling around. But
the thing was, to me, it wasn't like the Bills were beating them. They were beating themselves, especially on offense. It wasn't like Justin Fields was under like a tremendous amount of pressure. He's getting smoked. Like he was missing open throws. Like easy throws to keep drives alive. He missed Isaiah Davis. He missed Garrett Wilson. And the plays he was completing that weren't perfect passes. They were guys, it's like he could tell he was just off. And as a veteran quarterback, he's a veteran, dude. He's not a rookie. He's got to find a way to rally his offense, rally his team, and get everybody back on track. And he was unable to do that to the point where I'm like, you know what? Play Tyrod. Because what is the goal here? Is the goal here to develop Justin Fields or win football games? If he's not helping me win the game, I'm taking him out. It's like, you know what? Like you said earlier, dude, if Tyrod Taylor plays this Sunday, you're probably going to see what this offense really is because he's a much better passer than Fields. Yes, he gets hurt all the time. If they play well with him, I keep riding him, dude. I ride the hot hand because, it's about winning. If Aaron Glenn doesn't do that, it's about what? It's about your pride, about your free agent quarterback signing that's not really working out because the other guy's playing better. Like, dude, Sunday set me off because I think it was handled terribly on so many levels.
Well, I think the transition to go from Fields to Tyrod is not as, maybe stark because, for example, if you're Saleh, if you're Douglas, right, you're drafting Zach at the top of the draft, you are fully investing in this player. Like you're going to the car dealership, you're signing up long-term loan, like you are committed to this player. So chances are you're going to build the offense around him. Chances are you're going to try to, make sure that he's the guy. With Fields, he wasn't drafted. So, by Glenn and co, it's just kind of like, okay, we need a quarterback. We're moving on from Rodgers, whatever.
They gave him good money, dude. They didn't give him $5 million a year.
Yeah, but it's not really that. Like, when I look at like Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, that's horrible. Like you're on the hook for a long time. You're paying a lot of money. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta. You're paying a ton of money.
But the Jets decided in the offseason when they let Aaron Rodgers go, which I agree with, they needed a quarterback. They had nobody on the roster except Tyrod Taylor, who's not. You don't want him to be your starter week one. Their guy they picked, their prized possession out of all the quarterbacks was Justin Fields. Not go in the draft and get somebody. They didn't want to go in the draft class. They wanted to go man boost. So their pick was our vision is Justin Fields is our quarterback, and gave him good guaranteed money to come here. And then they sold us this whole project, the entire preseason and training camp and everything else that's our guy. We believe in him. Okay. But if that guy, again, it's only 2 games, but that game was one of the worst ones I've ever seen in my life. If it's that bad, they better be able to pivot quickly instead of watching this season go up in flames.
Right. And so the point I'm making is the pivoting process, it should be a lot easier. I have no problem whatsoever with the Jets and Glenn continuing to back Justin Fields verbally, right? Like in press conferences, like, oh, like we really liked him. And that could very well be true. But, it's not like if the Jets are, say, picking 9th next year, right, in the draft, and they go with a quarterback or they draft a quarterback in the 2nd round, I'm not going to be like, what are we doing? We invested in Fields. We just got Fields in the building. It's just like, no, it's a 2-year contract. And honestly, with the 35, was it 30 mil guaranteed or 35 mil guaranteed?
I think it was 30. I forget.
Yeah, regardless, the bulk of the money is coming out this first season. If he's not the guy and you're going to be drafting someone next season, he's just going to be released, and that's just going to be it. It's just like, all right, we took a flyer on him. It didn't work out. Same situation like Carolina and Baker Mayfield, Carolina and Sam Darnold. Like, okay, we didn't draft this guy. We don't have any options. Let's see if he works. Maybe there's a chance, maybe not. But at the end of the season, we'll have a lot more data, a lot more information, a lot of games under our belt to kind of make a determination. It's not like I'm trying to think of an example. Say this is not what I think is going to happen, but say Cam Ward is terrible this entire season. Callahan, new GM Borgonzi, they're looking around just saying like, all right, well, I guess we have to roll Cam Ward out there. We just spent the 1st overall pick on him. I don't feel like we're deeply tied to Fields. But then again, I don't want to sound.
I think that's Aaron Glenn's
guy. So you think quarterback's off the table for next year's draft?
No, I'm not saying next year, but I think for this year, I think they'll go down to Justin Fields' ship. I honestly think they will. And that's going to piss me off endlessly if that's what happens.
I see. So you're saying Tyrod can go out there, do well, but boom, it's Fields' team, no questions asked. I
hope I'm wrong. We got a couple of super chats here. So first of all, Jason, thank you, man. The team needs the approach Buffalo used the year before they drafted Allen: coach hard, play to win, and trade every player you don't consider a cornerstone for whatever you can get in draft picks. I agree, but the first thing is coach hard and play to win, and the Jets didn't do that on Sunday. The Sunday was a complete disgrace. Now, trade every player you don't consider a cornerstone. I mean, you got to identify who those are. It's only been week 2. I mean, right now, you look at a lot of guys on defense that aren't earning their paycheck, which is disturbing.
Yeah, so I posted a video and you left a really, really good comment on it talking about, is it coaching or is it players? And this goes, like, you can take this in so many different angles, right? Like in regards to penalties, in regards to play, in regards to training up and down. Again, it's week 2, and like we were kind of texting over the last couple of days, I think as the schedule lightens up and as the defense gets more and more reps kind of like loaded into the roster, they're going to perform better over time when we start playing, teams that aren't like expected to go on playoff runs. Or I should just say playoff teams. Like when we start playing against Cincinnati and Cleveland and Carolina and Miami week 4, that's a huge game. Despite whatever happens this
dude,
Sunday.
Sunday's a huge game. Like what? So now we're lower. Like I'm not gonna lower stand. Like, oh, we're playing the good Bucs. We're gonna lose that game because we're supposed to. How about you come out and compete and do what every other team in the NFL does and find ways to win games? The problem I have, dude, is this team has too much goddamn talent to be this bad. Like Sunday was inexcusable. Like you cannot do that because look at defense. This defense under Steve Wilks is grossly underachieving with all these high-priced players. Can't stop the run, can't stop the pass, and can't get a pass rush. How is that possible? Think about it though, right? Look at Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Williams. 3 high-priced, highly talented guys. Harrison Phillips, very respected veteran guy, making decent money. Your linebacking core is look at Quincy Williams, got an incentive-laden contract. He got a boost. Sherwood got a big contract. Sauce Gardner, big contract. Brandon Stevens, big contract. Cisco, $10 million. Look at all the money on defense and look at how they're playing. I don't want to hear excuses. Well, we're learning the defense. Nonsense. Coach them up and figure it out. Because you cannot, and I think this is a Steve Wilks problem. We talked about this in the offseason. Like, when you hear Tony Romo openly criticizing him, like, they're not disguising their coverages. They're not disguising this. Like, he's criticizing the defense, how vanilla it is. How does Aaron Glenn sit there and watch that and be like, yeah, this is cool. This is fine. How is that possible? Now, that could be, you know what? I'm going to learn from this because this is really bad. But, that's kind of alarming, dude.
Yeah, in regards to God, Sunday was just such a mess. But you have the offensive side, which sucked, and then you had the defensive side that also sucked. For me, just as a fan, again, both sucked, both not good at all. But for me, it's the defense that really drives me up a wall because if I go and I just meet whatever a Bucs fan walking down, maybe not the Bucs because we're playing on this week, whatever, a Saints fan. And I'm like, hey man, the Jets are 0-2. The Jets offense looked pretty good in that first game, but sucked against the Bills. Justin Fields is the quarterback, Tanner and Sharon, rookie OC. They'd be like, oh, okay. No surprises there.
Yep.
But if I say, oh, well, the defense has given up 60 plus points.
Yep.
And they allowed 25 first downs to the Bills offense, in that second game. And Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns. It's like, hold on a second. Isn't Gardner the highest paid corner? Isn't Quinnen and Quincy all pro players? Jermaine's coming back from the Achilles, right? Oh, they also traded for Harrison Phillips. And they have Steve Wilks, someone who's actually called plays before. They're running a system that the players actually fit. It's not this super complex Todd Bowles style of defense, right? Jesse Minter style of defense where you just, and I'm not, by no means am I calling the defense simple, but I would say it's probably not one of the more complex defenses in the league. It feels more so like, we're going to let our athletes be athletes, put our talent out there on display and let the best man win. Try to pressure the quarterback and force him into making bad decisions and then getting these freak show athletes at DB.
Yep.
But, it just doesn't really feel very, so I didn't watch the game with the normal, game. I didn't really hear Tony Romo make any comments about it, but from what I saw, it just felt like very, basic cover one, lots of man-on-man coverage, no real adjustments throughout the course of the game.
Nope.
But yeah, when the pressure's on against the Bills, you just see teams cry. What was the point different? What was the comeback? I think the Ravens allowed 15 unanswered points, or they were up by 15. They, the Bills storm back and win with 12 minutes left or something. Just something insane. When the Bills really get going, you have a veteran team with a top 5 quarterback and a great coach in Harbaugh, just completely shell shocked and implode.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case on Sunday though. The Bills took the pedal off the metal, dude. They knew the Jets, couldn't score points. They stopped throwing. We're just going to run the ball down your throats because you can't match our intensity. You can't match our physicality. We're going up and down the field, and you guys aren't tackling. And that's the problem I have. Dude, I understand it's a whole reset year. The basic fundamental defense, what Aaron Glenn told us, be fast, be physical, be all this stuff, and tackling. They put a premium on tackling. They haven't tackled in 2 weeks. Now, is that the new scheme? Because it's been terrible. Like, there's something has to be better than this. And to me, it's like, that means Aaron Glenn's got to start calling plays in 2 or 3 weeks. Go for it. I really don't care. I'm not tanking this season, dude. I'm not going to sit here and watch nonsense week in, week out. Like, oh, we're trying to find our way. No, it's not acceptable, dude. There's literally too much talent to be playing this bad on defense. Or you grossly overpaid some of these players and they have to go. Like Michael Carter II's been terrible. What the hell happened to him? Like, I thought he was going to be like a chess piece puzzle for this guy. Like, you know what? He could be like a branch roll, do all these things. He's been awful. Like, how can his entire defense be awful with this much talent?
Well, we signed Nick Needham today, and he's like where he was at his best was in the slot back with the Dolphins. So it kind of makes you, and they also worked out a bunch of slot corners too. Arthur Mallett in there, which kind of makes you think that like Aaron Glenn is
Carter's hurt,
or Wilkes, or that, or they're just flat out disappointed with the play so far. Like, from what we've seen over these past 2 weeks, and again, it's 2 weeks against 2 smart quarterbacks too. But still, you have Carter struggling, Brandon Stevens struggling, Tony Adams struggling, Cisco average, Sauce good in week 1, not so good in week 2. Yeah, I'm stunned at the defensive back performances so far.
And the linebackers too. Like Quincy Williams, that James Cook touchdown, like you're like, oh, look at this. Like the missed tackles, it was more the same like of last week. The first 2 weeks, all you see is bad angles, bad tackling, bad coaching on defense. And it's like, what? Like, it's more disappointing with that because you have Wilkes and Aaron Glenn's a defensive-minded guy. You got to figure if one doesn't see it, the other one's going to see it, and then you make adjustments. Like, they literally ran the ball down their throats, and it's almost like comical. Like, it's almost like they're just, like, toying with us because they knew we couldn't stop it, right? And then they're dancing on the sidelines, and the whole Elijah Moore touchdowns, like, just adding fuel to the fire. And it's just like, how are we here already? Like, it's got to be better, and it's got to be better fast because I'm not letting them off the hook. I'm not saying fire anybody or nothing like that, but if we want to talk about accountability and changing your culture, the standard as fans is we expect better. Like this Sunday, dude, don't get your ass kicked. I don't care that the Bucs are 2-0. They have a lot of injuries on the offensive line. You've got to be a much better effort. Don't let the team start spiraling out of control because that's a lack of leadership then.
So so you're right. In the past, it always felt, in the past, I should say 3.5 years, under Saul and Ulbrich, it always kind of felt like when the Jets would have a loss, it's like, oh, poor us. Like we just lost, pity party, same old Jets type of, mentality. And then, credit to them, credit to them and stuff. And then the next week, like you never really felt like that respond was there. Like, I mean, you hear like people talk about it all the time, like guys that like pick games, pick winners and stuff. Like, oh, this team's coming off a humiliating loss. They're going to be ready. They're going to be like on point. This is the first like real punch in the mouth that Aaron Glenn in this Jets team is had. Like as far as adversity goes this season, let's see how they respond.
I agree with you, but could it also be that they were feeling good about themselves coming off a moral victory? Is that what it was? They're proud of themselves. Like, you know what? We almost beat the Steelers. We played pretty well. We've arrived because they didn't show up on Sunday. So that's my more concern is we talked about this, dude. You want to build off that performance. You lost the Steelers, build on it, and you can be very competitive against the Bills. They did the exact opposite. They didn't build on it. They went backwards and didn't show up at all. So now it's like, all right, your first test of handling a little bit of success, which wasn't even a friggin' win, is that's how you handle it. Now, how do you handle a terrible loss where everybody's completely disgusted? Like, and that's a good test for this coach, dude, because if the players worked their asses off in the physical training camp and they bought into this whole culture change, and now they got 2 home losses and got embarrassed, they got to be like, all right, what does this guy know what he's doing?
Well, I think the Jets, you can definitely make an argument like, all right, the Gibson fumble, the Garrett Wilson, play at the end of the game. Like there were moments where it's just like, if there was one tweak, the Jets could have honestly won the game.
Yep.
I don't want to say, the Jets were feeling themselves, against Pittsburgh and then they were unprepared for Buffalo, because I feel like that's just an assumption based off of what we saw previously under Saul and Ulbrich, because that happened a ton, dude. Like the win against the Texans on Halloween, all of a sudden you have Devontae Adams and Rodgers. Everyone just start of the season's horrible. They get one win on Halloween against Houston, and it's just like, we're back, playoffs, and then they just go out and they lose the following week.
Yep.
I don't. And again, something to make a note of too, man. Buffalo does this to everybody. I know it's not an excuse,
Oh, don't
but
give me
it's
this.
not like we lost to Carolina. It's not
Dude,
like we lost
Don't give me
to.
this. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this. They self-destructed, dude. Like the Buffalo. Listen, I'm not discounting Buffalo. Buffalo's probably one of the favorites in the AFC, but I'm not going to bow down. I'm not going to bow down to them.
We can't affect them,
right? You can't bow down. Oh, it's Buffalo. That's
yeah,
crazy.
no. Well, yeah, I'm not saying that, fans, players, whatever, no one's bowing down to Buffalo, but it's just like they are a very, very good team with not many weaknesses. I mean, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl this season. So, I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. Everyone's pissed, upset, disgusted, frankly, in the loss and how this team looked. But this to me is like the first, like, Eric, again, this coaching staff, this team got decked in the mouth. Are you going to get up and respond? Or are you going to wallow? Woe is me, same old Jets crap that we've seen in previous years.
Yeah, and that's the question for this coach staff. That's the biggest. Like, I don't like the way. Like, even like I know press conferences don't matter, but the way Glenn has handled himself since this loss is annoying me already because he's waffling from that tough mindset about accountability and physical, and starting to almost justify things and kind of explain it. Like, no, dude. You talked about this is what we want to win this year. Not a rebuild. Never said to like we want to compete this year. We can. All right. Don't make excuses for this stuff, man. For things that are in your control. When you self-destruct and lose games because of yourself 2 weeks in a row, then you got to own it and talked about it. Like in the training camp, you could talk about like what went wrong. Week 1 could somewhat talk about what went wrong. This week couldn't explain what went wrong. Got to watch tape. Why is that, coach? You don't want to say what actually went wrong. That it was terrible coaching. You made no adjustments. That your players didn't show up. Why can't you say that? You want to talk about accountability? You scared to say it now? Why? Own it, right? Like he's changing now, dude. You can't be like that double standard here. Keep that mindset. Listen, my players suck today. We expect better. Offense unacceptable. Say it. Why? Whose feelings are you worried about? Right?
Yeah, to me, man, it just kind of felt like again, like right from the jump. Again, 3 and out, forced fumble, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And then even after the game, by the way, I didn't really like the questions that were being asked post game, but Glenn just kind of felt like his cage was rattled. I mean, just getting blown out like that at home. Yeah. And, one thing I don't want to, the trap that I don't want to fall into is, looking at all of the just mistakes and horrible pressers and horrible moments. God, there were so many of them throughout the Gase years and Saleh, even going up top to Joe Douglas too. Just so many questionable moments, so many questionable decisions, so many things that would just piss you off just hearing as a fan. Press conference, performance, whatever, draft pick, trading away a player. I don't want to take all that frustration and say, oh, I've been a fan for X amount of years and dump it on Aaron Glenn's front lawn and just say, hey, I've been a fan here. Why isn't it changing? He just arrived.
Yeah, but that's fair. But the thing is, if we're going to have this season in a silo, which is exactly what I'm doing, I don't care about Saleh. I'm talking about what his team is and what they're doing is last Sunday was inexcusable. But then you look at the roster in general. It's like, well, Josh Reynolds is hurt. Okay. You look at the wide, Ian, we talked about this. The wide receiver group is a mess. Has anybody seen Stone Smart do anything yet? You got Tyler Johnson. Like, as you look at
Mason Taylor.
It's like you're looking at all your pieces of the puzzle after 2 weeks, and you're like, okay, you can only assess as we go on. Maybe 7 weeks from now, this all looks a lot different. But it's a week-by-week league. You're figuring out what do they have to fix their needs and win games. And right now, if you look at Muji's free agent class, it's a disaster. It is. So it's like they better hope this gets cleaned up and all their pieces start finding a way to win games, or you're going to have more holes than you had before. Because now it's like you get one injured Josh Reynolds, you're like, oh, we got to call Tyler Johnson up. Now you're counting on Alan Lazard. It's like, oh, you've got to be. And this is the fear. You're one Garrett Wilson injury away from being in deep trouble. You're one Jermaine Johnson injury away from being in deep trouble. Well, guess what? Jermaine Johnson's hurt now. Boom. Now Michael Clemens is your guy. Like these things are, you got to look at, we did it. Like you kind of be proactive instead of reactive, right? We talked about a lot of stuff, and now some of it's come into it. Well, guys aren't getting open for Fields. Well, whose fault is that? Angstrom can only do so much. You got to have talent. So
Yeah, my thing is we've known all of these things for months.
mhm.
We've known about the schedule since May. We've known about the free agent class. We knew wide receiver was going to be an issue. We knew defensive end was going to be an issue. And, I think you can't have the quick rebuild in one night, like as far as fixing every single position. Like, I think why D end is the one that is just like, do you go out and you sign a Zadarius Smith? Do you go out and you push to sign a Jadeveon Clowney? Both of those guys, by the way, are now claimed, signed, and no longer on the table. But it's just kind of like those late summer acquisition or those late summer potential signings where it's just like the Jets had what $36 million in cap space.
Yep.
How many podcasts did we do where we were talking about a D end or a wide receiver? Right now, wide receiver. How much of a game changer, like Amari Cooper's retired. So that was like the big option that everyone was suggesting. So he's not even on the table. Keenan Allen, you kind of feel like at this point in his career, he wants to go to a winner,
Right.
especially coming off the Chicago just disaster that he was a part of. So, it was more so focused on the trades, the Alec Pierces, the Jawan Jennings, the Romeo Dobbs, all these different guys. But unfortunately, it's like the other team has to be willing to trade. And do you want to risk, giving away more draft picks in like that first kind of like set the foundation year? You can definitely make arguments on both sides. But, when I look at Muji, I love the Harrison Phillips move because D tackle was a huge need. I love the Membu move. Right tackle was a huge need. Obviously, we haven't really seen anything from Mason Taylor, so that is still a question mark. But you're not going to move on from Mason Taylor next season, and we still have other holes in this roster. I think for me, the biggest disappointment is understanding that we have these holes, understanding that they are hurting us, but we have, like you said before, we have good players right now that are getting paid a lot of money that are not producing.
Yep.
Specifically in the secondary. God, like you can go down the list, but to be fair, we're not even a month into the season. So in 2 weeks from now, this team could look like it is possible that this team could look completely different. It is possible that Aaron Glenn is, just because we don't know it yet, he could be amazing at handling adversity behind the scenes, getting his team ready to play, getting his team to be picked up off of the mat. It is very possible, but I do think we have to, maybe look at how Dan Campbell responded in his early press conferences and whatnot to get a good maybe sense of where Glenn's mind is at.
No, his mindset better be, I better get my act together because what's going on now is going in the wrong direction quickly. You get blown out by the Buccaneers, this is going to spiral completely out of control. My expectation is win the next 2 games. That's what they have to do. You have to bounce back and find a ways to not just what if and could have and should have and win a good game on Sunday and down in Tampa Bay. There's no reason why they can't, dude. Like, I'm tired of, that team's a playoff team. That team's good. That team, I don't care. Play competitive football. Be more physical. That's fair to ask of this team, dude. Especially on defense, dude. There's no reason why this defense can't go toe-to-toe with the Buccaneers and beat up Baker Mayfield on Sunday. There's no reason whatsoever. If they play timid and soft and get lit up, that's on the coaching staff, right?
I mean, so yes, but my fear is Baker and this wide receiving core just having a field day, because it's, again, we've seen these guys have good moments in the past, and you're just asking the question, like, where is that now? So yeah, like as far as this week against Tampa is concerned, and I saw Armand actually mentioned it, I think a little bit ago in the chat here. Tampa's beat up, Baker Mayfield kind of hobbling around.
Bills didn't have Ed Oliver.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Bucs are coming up short week.
You can tell I'm pissed off, dude. I've had it. I hate this.
So again, man, I'm with you. I think we're all pissed, but did you have the Jets beating the Bills on Sunday?
I thought it was gonna be a lot. To be honest, I think we talked about this. When I knew that Johnson was out, Ed Oliver was out, I'm like, you know what? If they can run the ball and play very physical on defense, this could be a close game. I didn't think they were going to win, but I thought it'd be a game in the fourth quarter. I thought it'd be pretty close. I'm like, you know what? Whatever, 21-17, 21, but they're in it. Like, you're not getting embarrassed. Like, maybe they have a chance, but you're not going to get embarrassed and your ass kicked all over the field. I thought they had a chance. But when they played timid on offense and couldn't run the ball and Fields couldn't complete a pass, I'm like, well, this is bad. And the defense just looked like they weren't even coached before. I'm like, that's just
Yeah.
not what I expected for 2 weeks in a row with them. Right? Like, to me, like, you look at the Buccaneers, like, I'm tired of being, well, the Jets just suck. They they're going to get blown out again. Why? There's too much talent here, dude.
Right. Yeah. I mean, really, you're looking for this team to be competitive. I'm personally not the type of guy to change my predictions. Like, power ranking weekly videos. Like, I can't stand power rankings, right? I'm not changing the Jets win-loss prediction. I had the Jets at 6 wins, 6 to 7 wins. Of course, like, if you have a big injury, right? Like, maybe the Bengals is a lot more winnable now without Joe Burrow, but that's too far down the rabbit hole. The point is, I had the Jets winning 6 games this season in year 1 of the Glenn era, year 1 of the Muji era, with a question mark at the quarterback position, kind of this set the foundation, clean up the mess that has taken place. Rodgers, Douglas, no accountability, all the problems, right?
Yep.
It's not going to be an overnight fix. It's very, very, I mean, even look at like Sean Payton when he took over from Hackett's 1 year, the destruction of Nathaniel Hackett in Denver. Like, it took Payton a little bit to kind of get things going. Like, I remember reading articles and listening to sports, whatever, like radio show hosts, like talking crap, like Sean Payton's lost it. He's done. He's too old. He can't be doing this anymore. But it's just like, no, sometimes it takes a little time. Not every, situation is just step in, win right away. And Parcells was a little bit before my time.
Mm-hmm.
Did Parcells?
He won his first year. They went 9-7
in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
And what was
they should have made the playoffs, but they had the freaking Leon Johnson pass in the end zone, and they blew it. They did like a trick play to try to win the game against the Lions. They could have actually made the playoffs their first year.
And who was the coach prior?
Kotite.
Yeah,
they did a dramatic change. It was a 360, dude. It went from like the worst team in football to a team that nobody wanted to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, dude, it's funny. My dad is always talking about that year. He loves Parcells. He loves Testaverde. Anyway, the point is, it takes time. Not everyone is Bill Parcells and can just walk in and just fix every single issue and, at the snap of a finger. But no, like, I'm with you. Sunday's performance was just an absolute disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's in the past. You can't go back and replay that game. The only thing you can do is get up for the Bucs game. And the positives, the straight up facts, Tampa's a little beat up. Tampa's on a short week. First road game for the Jets. Mm-hmm. Let's see, the kind of maybe perception that is given off by this Jets franchise is like, we want to play the role of the underdog. We want, similar to Detroit, man, when Campbell first took over, like Detroit versus everyone. Like, everyone hates us, everyone makes fun of us, everyone says we're going to get blown out every week, but we're going to go out there and we're going to rough up the other team and we're going to play really, really hard. Let's see. Like the Jets are in the position that they want to be as far as like people betting against them and whatnot. Let's see how they respond. If I'm sitting in the stands, by the way, I think it's supposed to be thunderstorming that week, but so it's going to be a lot of fun sitting in the stands watching Baker Mayfield potentially put up 30+ points in the pouring rain. But no, like that, it just can't happen, right? And I had this team winning 6 games. I love this team, but I feel like realistic with this team, and I understand that they're not a playoff caliber team. Now, I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they shock me and I'm boom, once December hits, we're in the playoff picture. But, I feel like we're a 6-win team, 6-7 win team.
But see, and that's, how do I say this? I understand a 6-week team. I get that. That's our bar. That's what we expect. That doesn't mean the other 11 games you play like dog crap and you're just like, well,
right.
We hit our quota of 6 wins. Good for us. We made it. No. Aaron Glenn's thing is, I want this team to play like a team you can be proud of. Well, guess what? We were embarrassed at home on Sunday where they were lifeless, like zombies, and looked completely lost. That's not acceptable. You've got to compete. If they lost 21-17 and fought their asses off, completely cool with it. If the defense was nasty and they're just like, you know what? The Bills are just better. That's fine. If you're going to self-destruct and not even show up and quit in the second half, nothing good about that. That's alarming in week 2. That's not what we expected from him, man. We thought they're going to rally. Like, they're going to be like, you're going to see a whole different mindset. That was more of the same. So now they have a chance this weekend to prove us all wrong. You're not the same old Jets we think you are. They actually show up on the road. These are the Bucs home opener too, right? It's their first home game.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's going to be a crazy crowd. They're 2-0. They're feeling it. But you know what? Don't back down. Step up and have some goddamn pride. Play better than that. And it starts with the coaching staff. Don't get all timid. Don't get all conservative. Don't be scared to lose. And that's exactly what Aaron Glenn played like on Sunday. He was scared to lose at that point. And that's not the mindset to have when you're like, oh, I'm aggressive. We're built for this shit. No, you're not. You weren't. Right? And he said it, not me.
I don't know, man. When I think back to that Bills game, dude, my honest assessment was like what I actually think was happening in the mind of Aaron Glenn was he was not expecting to just get again punched in the face that early by Buffalo, a great team that's well coached, and that also, I think this should be mentioned. They're the best adjusting team in football. There's not a team out there that's better at making adjustments. And I'm not just talking about at halftime and it's a better second half team. No, in-game offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, Sean McDermott, he's the CEO style of head coach. They pick up on tendencies really, really quickly, and they're able to pivot off of what's not working. And it almost feels like every game Buffalo rolls out, it's like this cat and mouse game, like in the first quarter. It's like, we're just going to try this random thing and just kind of see how you respond. And then if it's working for us, great. If not, we're just going to completely shift gears. And it's almost like they prepare two separate game plans. It's honestly crazy. But again, going back to Aaron Glenn, I don't think he was expecting to get rocked like that early. And then from that point, it's just the game is flying. Like he's scrambling. Should we stick to the game plan? Should we not stick to the game plan? Tanner Ringstrand's never been in this position before. Justin Fields is missing wide open throws. Offense can't hold the ball. And it just seems like every time the Bills touch the ball, they're getting in the end zone. It just felt like a whirlwind, is my guess from the coaching staff.
And the thing is too, and my other concern was that, I talked about this, I think yesterday or whenever, I don't even care anymore. It's that they had, in week one, they had the element of surprise where the Steelers had no idea what to expect. They didn't know what Aaron Glenn's defense was or Wilkes' defense. They didn't know what Engstrand's offense was. Now you have a full game of tape. Like, all right, now we understand their concepts and their principles going into week two. Now McDermott and staff to look at it like, oh, all right, this is what they're doing now. This is how we're going to attack it. And meanwhile, it seemed like the Jets said, you know what, we're going to try to keep doing the same thing we did. It's going to work. And they were like, well, wait a minute, it's not going to work. And especially on offense, dude, I was like, that's just not going to work at all. And it's just like, that was the inexperience of Engstrand. I'm willing to deal with a little bit. I'm like, all right, it's his first time,
right.
I'll get that. The defense was completely inexcusable, dude. I was like, you've got to be kidding me with this.
Yeah, agreed. Man, I was going to say a point, but it kind of slipped my mind as we were talking. No, you're good. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like, man, I just think the Jets fans are frustrated. We're tired of losing, and rightfully so. But Glenn's been here for 2 weeks, man. Glenn has been here for 2 weeks, and we played. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Is there a possibility that Pittsburgh is actually not good?
I think so.
They didn't look good against Seattle. Aaron Rodgers blowing the game.
They're not. That's another concern too.
Because a lot of people are like Pittsburgh, 9-10 wins, which is kind of I have them more so at 8-9. But I think it's just kind of like the principle of Tomlin and Terrell Austin and Cam Hayward and all these veterans. So, and also too, Pittsburgh they're always tough early in the season, and then they always they start off every year 6-2, and then they fall off.
Yeah, Rodgers looked a lot different this week than did last week.
Yeah, dude, definitely. He straight up blew the game. And it's weird because no one's talking about it, but DJ Honor Society, Pittsburgh is overrated. Yeah, so we'll see this Sunday, man. I'm hoping for a bounce back. I do believe Buffalo is far in a way better than Tampa. But with that said, the Jets defense has got to step up. I don't care that they're playing Baker. I don't care that they have Mike Evans and whatever, Igbuka, Godwin, all these different guys to throw to. They're banged up. They're not at 100%. Yep. You're coming off a humiliating loss. I don't care that we're on the road. I don't care that it's the first game. The defense has got to get better.
No, but the thing is, how do you offset the one thing I think Afram mentioned it earlier on? It's now with Jermaine Johnson banged up, which is a huge blow because he's one of your edge rushers. How do you offset that? dude, I would be like Todd Bowles was last night. I'd sell out with the blitz. I would be aggressive as hell and beat up Baker Mayfield, try to attack, just be, I'd rather go down in flames than be soft and timid and get mauled, right? Like, wouldn't you, with especially Jermaine Johnson now, I think you have no choice.
Yeah. Here's the thing too. It's tough because we don't know who's going to be playing quarterback this week, but
it's Tyrod, dude. Fields ain't clearing concussion protocol within 5 days. There's no way.
So it's like, obviously the offensive performance dictates somewhat on how you're calling the defense. Like, for example, you'll see Buffalo play soft defense a lot because you know that they can get down the field offensively and just drop 30 on anyone. No problem.
Right.
No problem. Again, like this vaunted Ravens defense, everyone loves the Ravens defense, 40 on them, blowing the freaking double-digit lead. The Jets defense with a bunch of good players, 30 on them, no problem. Like they can score it. And so Buffalo's defense, like you're essentially allowed to drop guys, a lot of guys back in coverage, kind of the bend, but don't break, just tighten up in the red zone, that whole thing. But with the Jets, it's kind of like, you want to run the ball, you want to hold the ball, you want to control time of possession, you want to beat people up and run the ball into really getting these third and shorts. You got to play good defense. Like you can't go down 13-0 or 20-0 and then say like, all right, yeah, we're going to stick to the game plan. We want to run the football and go on a 10-minute drive and hopefully get in for 7.
Yeah.
When you're down by 3-4 scores, it's just because there's no guarantee. You can go on a 9-minute drive, have a botched snap, have a failed trick play like Arian Smith, have a pick, a fumble, or a failed third down, a missed field goal, and you just wasted 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and you get nothing. So you can't afford to have your defense be just getting blown by every single week.
I agree. And to Javid's point, what the Jets are going to try to do. They're going to try to run the football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers know it, and they have a stout defense, even with their injuries. And Bowles is not scared to be very physical and stack the box and say, you know what? I'm going to dare you to beat me. Let Tyrod throw the ball. Let him, go out aggressive like you want to win the game. Set your own tone. Set your own pace. Like, be the aggressor. Don't sit back and always react what they're doing to you. Like, you know what? We're coming out to win this game. You're going to get our best effort. I'd rather see Tyrod throw 3 picks than score 3 points because we're running the ball, run, third and long, punt.
Yeah, and I do feel like the game plan changes a little bit with Tyrod. Not saying that they have to shift the offense around, but just I think we're going to see, again, if he plays a smoother, probably operation in the passing game. But Tampa has a good secondary, right? And it is Todd Bowles that we're going up against. So I do feel like even if it's Tyrod, you got to stick to the ground game. It's the defense, which is like where I want that big time mentality, right? Just pin your ears back, go attack Baker, get in the backfield. Glenn did talk about like over. Go ahead.
Yeah, but on offense though, it's like the quick passing game now. Now's the game to get Aaron Smith involved. I mean, Alan Lazard, put him in the slot. Like, you just get the ball out of Tyrod's hand quickly and get the defense back on their heels. Mason Taylor, all these guys can use Brees out of the backfield, all quick throws. Just back this defense off you. Just don't run into a big pile and fall down for 1 yard. Like, well, we tried. That's not going to work, dude.
Right.
And that's like, we've seen this before. Because the Jets are going to dare Tyrod, or the Bucs are going to dare Tyrod to beat them. And he can. I think he can. I think he's got a good enough passing game to do this. It's just a matter of spreading the ball around and being creative in your play calling. Don't be predictable and don't be conservative.
But I do think it's relevant to not ignore that week 1 game because we ran it down Pittsburgh's throat. They knew it. We knew it. Everyone in the stadium knew that the Jets wanted to run the football. Pittsburgh had months to prepare for the Jets to run the football, and they couldn't stop it at all. So I do agree, that if you can run the ball and you can't stop it defensively, that's just such a tough position to be in as a defense because it's demoralizing. It beats you up physically. It beats you up mentally. It puts stress on the offense because like you're looking at how like the 49ers win games.
Yeah.
And like everything is so built and attached to the running game success. And if the running game is not there, the overall chance of success just goes down, whether it's, Brock or Mac or whoever that they roll out, even going back to Jimmy Garoppolo, when they're like, okay, you got to throw it every single time now to come back in games. So really just establishing the run. One thing I'm curious to, and I was actually going to do this tomorrow. One thing I want to do is kind of dive in to see how Tampa has been trying or playing the run, because the Todd Bowles defense has always been like, we're going to stop the run. So I know with Kancey being out, I wonder how Todd Bowles will adjust. I also think that Logan Hall, another member of that Bucs D line, is also banged up. Who else? Baker was limping around. Lukadecky, I believe, was
Ibuka's hurt too. Ibuka's got a groin, doesn't he?
Does he? Yeah, I'm not sure. I really got to look at the injury report.
But that's why you be aggressive, though. Like, just come out and go after it, dude. Like, you got to match, because Bowles don't care, dude. He'll blitz. He'll go zero blitz. He don't care, dude. He'll send everybody. Do the same thing. Because if Baker Mayfield beat you with his legs, he beat you with his legs, but at least beat him up and hit him. He's already banged up as it is. He was limping around last night.
Yeah, no, it should. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to the game. I think.
Give me your three keys to the game.
Run the ball, don't turn it over, start fast.
That's good.
Simple as that. Armand, Jeremy Fowler, Lukadecky, Mage. Yeah, so another one. And then I saw someone mention before that Wirfs isn't going to be playing either.
Yep, I saw that too.
So, yeah, but no, for me, it's like, if you can, because think about it, man, the Jets couldn't start fast. It was actually the opposite. The other team started fast, and they turned the ball over early.
Yep.
Yeah, D-Rock, man, when was the last time the Jets actually had like this crazy cool interception? Why do I think of like Revis and Cromartie picking off the ball?
It's been a while.
I shouldn't have to go back 10 years to think of like cool.
I think it's like Brandon Eccles.
Or bro, falling on fumbles, jarring a ball loose and just diving on it, or taking one back to the house. Like, the Jets never take the ball away, man. It's crazy.
Yep. How we get a turn? Yeah, everybody's saying the same thing, man. That's what I thought. The Eccles pick six of Brady. That's probably about it.
Yeah. Yep.
No, it's gonna be Sunday's be very interesting, dude, because my expectation is I want to see a very, very competitive game. And I want to see him find a way to win it. I do. I do. It's just they have to be better than this, dude. They have to be. I don't care about who the opponent is anymore. I'm tired of it. Oh, it's a really good Bucs team. Every team is good. That's the way it is. It's who shows up, who wants it more, who's better coached, who's better prepared, who's more physical. That gets you a long way.
Yeah, man. I mean, look at the amount of teams that we were talking about Denver before. They've come out of the gate against the on paper worst team in football last year in the Tennessee Titans. Barely escaped with the W. Then they followed up with a game against the Colts. And granted, they should have won. They had the whole field goal debacle. But at the end of the day, they lost. And they're 1-1. And as a Bronco fan, based off of what I saw last season, based off of the acquisitions that they made in the offseason, the draft class, which I really liked, and you're starting off the season against the Titans and the Colts, two teams from the worst division of football, and you're 1-1, and you're like, we have not looked convincingly good at all. I mean, look at Miami. They are a complete mess, dude. Like, just being down in Florida, fans are freaking out.
Oh, I know.
Fire McDaniel, fire Greer. It doesn't even look like they care. Defense, offense, it just looks horrible. The Chiefs are 0-2. The early part of the season is a weird kind of place to be to really start like cementing in judgments.
So is Sunday a must win for the Jets?
I don't want to say it's a must win, but I think it's very important to be competitive.
I think
if we lose 26-23 and it's a back and forth and you saw some adjustments and you saw the secondary, really you see the defense step up. Maybe you have a clean game from the quarterback position. Again, Fields, Tyrod, whoever, doesn't matter. A clean game there. Mm-hmm. You can, because again, like, just because the regular season is here, I don't believe that we should be, and of course, right, we're all wanting this football team to win. But I do think it's like back when May came out, or back when the schedule came out in May, when everyone was saying that we're going to get 1 win, 2 wins, because the schedule is way too tough early on. We can't be just ripping the team to shreds 2 to 3 weeks in the season. So,
I mean, well, you can. If they blew the game against the Steelers, they had a no-show last week. This week, they've got to show up. To me, it's like, I'm kind of with you. I don't think Sunday's a must win. I think they've got to be very, very competitive and show they have pride and know what they're doing. But if they do lose that Miami game is a must win. You're 0-3.
Miami is a must win. Whether you win or lose against Tampa, Miami's a must win. They are in complete pandemonium.
Yep.
And also, Miami's going to have extra time to prepare for the Jets because they play the Bills in a couple days.
Yep.
up in Buffalo.
They're gonna get thrashed.
Yeah. So if Miami starts the season off 0-3, because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, Miami could be a joke. But Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel against this defense, if the defense again is a no-show against the Bucs, that could very well be the Dolphins' first win if the defense does not tighten up. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but like the Glenn defense against that style of offense has not been good before in the past, like all this man coverage and stuff, because you have all these like really speedy, quick wide receivers that are just flying across the middle of the field to Brock Purdy, whatever, Matt Stafford. Like these guys can just dump the football off and they just, yards after catch is just crazy. So week 4 is a must win. I don't, doesn't matter what happens this week, but you got to be competitive this week. You have to. You cannot be straight up, giving up 40, 35, 30 points again to another team. At some point, you got to lock it down defensively. It's a defensive led team running a system that the players fit with a bunch of former all-pro players. You got to actually see something there. Offensively, I would like to see a nice performance, but I don't put the pressure on the offense when the defense is this bad in this situation.
Yeah, and then to Javid's point too, it's like how many wins you get in the stretch of Dolphins, Cowboys, Broncos, Panthers, Bengals, Browns, and Pats will show a lot about this coaching staff and team. I agree. I think Sunday too, man. I think Sunday they got to show something on Sunday. The kid just can't be an 30-10 ass beating. Like, oh well, they're good. That's not going to work for me. Like you can't just keep mailing in games. You got to be competitive. But that's a fair point. I mean, there's, it's. I can't believe we're here already. It's just
I don't know.
You're dreading tonight. I know you were dreading this because you knew I've been pissed on Sunday. I know you were upset about this.
No, man, I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to it, man. I've really been wanting to go like back and forth with you, like where we like just completely disagree on a topic because I think it'd be fun. Because I never want the pod to be too much of like an echo chamber or anything, but I do agree with like pretty much like the majority of what you say. So, which is why I love doing the pod with you.
Yeah, and do you think Clemens gets cut this week? I don't think he does.
No, because so here's a question, right? If you, and this goes for coaching, firing people, cutting people, whatever, when it comes to actually doing that, right? Like dropping the hammer, Clemens is cut. What do? Who's going to be the replacement?
That's
4 days before the Bucs game, 5 days, however long it is.
Yep.
Like, do you roll Tyler Barron, the rookie 6th round pick, out and just say like, better rush the passer?
He was inactive last week, wasn't he?
Well, you got Braden McGregor, who actually played a lot.
Yep. You know what?
You never get. Sorry, go ahead.
But who actually played good was Leonard Taylor. But Leonard Taylor got more snaps towards the end. He was like a disruptive. Like I like seeing him play. I wouldn't mind seeing him get more action.
So I don't mind if you want to release a player, if you want to trade a player, if you want to, whatever, like fire a coach, but you better have a good plan B. You have to have something to pivot to.
Well, the plan B should be got friggin' off season when we knew he sucked. That's the problem.
This is something that we both agreed to. We both were talking about this for months on end.
Muji, man.
We knew the Jets were going to be in this situation.
Oh, God.
And Afram, by the way, the problem, Ian, is you never get angry.
He doesn't get angry.
I get angry, man. You go back and watch any of those recap videos in the it's specifically in that Ulbrich, really in the whole Rodgers area, in the Rodgers era, dude.
He was.
I mean, half of me is just like, you just know for a fact that Jets are going to lose no matter what, especially like when we were rolling out like Tim Boyle and stuff. But oh my God,
I love those. Those are my favorite ones because the look on your face, it was like you could see the stress in your face and the anger, and you're just like, you can just see it. I love those. My favorite videos.
Well, it's funny because it's like, in like I love the team. I love football. It's something I'm really passionate about. Let me see if I could move the computer. So I have the TV right there.
Right.
So when I do the recap videos, I just put the recaps I film on my phone
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot easier just to upload straight from my phone than to go into the computer and do the exporting
I do the
thing.
same thing. Yep.
Yeah. And so I get done watching the game, sitting right here. I take my phone, I put it here, and I just start talking.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I'm almost at a loss for words almost every single time we lose, because it's like seconds after the loss. But I don't know, man. I think it's really important to not take the like we talked about before, not take the frustrations of losing and whatnot and just all the dysfunctional crap that went on with Salah in them and just say, here you go, Glenn. Like, this is what we've been dealing with. Oh, great. Another loss. Same old Jets. It's just like, he just got here. There's a reason.
But that was the point though. And for Elmo, he is going to the game actually.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
But the thing is, I'm not saying like we do have that built-in anger and frustration of not being in the playoffs for 14 years. We do have that. But I'm assessing them as the team as they're currently constructed and how they're built in the offseason and what the expectations were. As Aaron Glenn has told us what to expect. And he has not given us that after 2 games. He hasn't, especially on defense. Sunday was alarming because they weren't even competitive. And that to me is like, all right, you get that week 8, week 9, you're getting tired, waiting for the bye, whatever, end of the season, you're eliminated from the playoffs. I understand it. That I kind of understand. Week 2, though, at home, division rival. I don't care who the coach is, dude. Any coach, I don't care who it was. I would have been like, this is poor.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just don't want us to. I don't want us to write off Glenn, fire him, fire Wilkes, fire this guy, fire that guy.
We got to raise the bar, though.
We do have to raise the bar. We do have to raise the bar.
To be fair, we haven't said that though, dude. We haven't said fire anybody. We haven't said nothing like that. I'm not going to go any crazy things like that. No. But it's like, okay, our expectations are a lot higher. You have to improve in these areas much sooner rather than later. Don't let the season spiral out of control with excuses without making adjustments. Step it up and coach this team up. That's your job. That's what you're expected to do with a team that has talent.
One thing, here's kind of a twist, something that we haven't talked about, something positive, a positive potential scenario.
Positive.
Something that I also don't want to see happen is the pendulum swing the other way, which is if the Jets do beat Tampa, if there is a lot of positivity, whatever it is, Tyrod having a great day, or the defense clamping down Tampa, they put up 9 points or 15, 16 points or something. And then this momentum is, and I'm talking externally from the media, I'm talking internally within the organization. We're back. See, we told you so. It's only week 2. We're actually really, really good. We're amazing. Right. And we start like beating our chest,
right?
Talking about how good we are and falling into that whole thing that happened over and over and over again, where it's like, win, let's throw a parade. Great. We're Super Bowl favorites. And then a loss, it's fire everyone. Everyone sucks. And we're going to have the number 1 overall pick. There needs to be this balance. And I think
consistency.
Yeah, consistency would be great. Something that the Jets just don't do. But I think it is important to be realistic, set a higher standard, like you were talking about. But yeah, this whole back and forth, like metronome, like hot, cold, yes, no, this guy's amazing. Then he sucks. Now he's back to amazing. Like, let's just say, for example, Fields goes out, he plays, and looks okay, or he looks like he did against the Steelers, right? Over 70% completion,
right?
3 touchdowns, whatever. He's effective through the air on the ground. It can't be this back and forth. Well, Justin's great now.
Yep.
I think that environment just puts so much pressure on coaches. I don't think it's a coincidence why almost every young quarterback fails with the Jets, because it's like, first of all, they're treated like a god, like a savior the second they walk in.
Yep.
And then when things don't go well, it's, see, I told you so. He sucks. We should have drafted this guy or that guy or this guy or that guy. But if he does well, he's just like, oh my God, it's this, rejoiceful thing. And again, like,
but that's what happened last week.
Excited.
But that's what happened against the Steelers. We had Membo going to the Hall of Fame and the offensive line being the best in football. This Jets offensive line is great. Look how great they are. Then the following week, they get their absolute asses kicked and get pushed all over the place. So that was, to your point, that was where I'm worried. They think they arrived. They think they were much better than they were because they didn't even show up. They got absolutely manhandled on both sides of the ball. And that, but see, and again, that could be a lesson learned for Aaron Glenn. Like, all right, listen, this team can't handle, they didn't even win the friggin' game. They can't handle any modicum of success. We've got to keep it reeled in because they don't know how to win. They don't know how to handle themselves. We've got to be a lot more consistent with the coaches, the leadership, and everything else.
Let me ask you this, and I know we've been going on for a long time, but just one real quick question I'm curious to get your thoughts on. Not saying that this is the case, not trying to divert the blame from the coaches and put it on anyone else, but let's just say that continues to happen, right? Where you see a lot of similarities from last year, like this hot, cold, we're amazing, and then it's doom and gloom when we lose, and again, parade when we win. At some point, is it the players' fault? The players' maybe mentality.
Yep.
And
the locker room.
Because we saw it with Saleh. We definitely saw it with Ulbrich. If we see it with Glenn, who is just up to this point, just a completely different style to Saleh as far as like how practices go, how he speaks. He's a former player. He's been around the game for a long time. He's worked under some great coaches. Because, go ahead.
It's the leadership in the locker room. It's exactly what it is. It's the leadership in the locker room. It's then because, dude, again, I go back. I actually interviewed Aaron Glenn, but I've interviewed a lot of players from the Parcells team, and they all talked about the locker room. The locker room was the standard was in the locker room. Like you want to do all your film study, you want to do all your gym workout, your workout because it was expected. If you didn't do it, the guy's like, bro, get on your game and do it. Like Saleh said he wouldn't hear.
That's cool.
But there was like because you had guys that prompt like Mo Lewis and Brian Cox and all like Victor Green. All these guys were like, listen, man, you got to be on top of it. And if you're not, you're going to pay our price, not the coach's price. You're going to you knew you had to be 5 minutes early to a meeting. And that was the standard. Like they had that internal standard in the locker room. And the one thing was like when Rex Ryan came here, don't forget, he brought Bart Scott, he brought Jim Leonard, he brought these guys. When Parcells came in here, he brought his own veteran guys like the Pepper Johnsons, all these guys to be that. This is the culture we expect. This is our standard. It's either our way or the highway. Glenn didn't really do that. I think he tried to count on maybe Sauce Gardner to be that guy and Sherwood and Garrett Wilson, Quincy Williams. He tried to like the guys that were already here. But to your point, that could be the problem. All these guys know is losing. They don't know anything else.
Yeah. And I think if it continues, it'll be a fair question to ask in time. But through 2 weeks, it's obviously too early to tell. But what's interesting, man, is there were a lot of former Lions out there. And we didn't make a move. Josh Reynolds, but there was a lot of. I mean, look at Za'Darius Smith, right? Look at how much of a needle mover is like Tim Patrick, but there was a lot of options that we could have had. Not saying that the Jets were like trying to go out and get, and they said like, no, we're not coming to the Jets. But it does make you ask the question: did the Jets actually have interest in those guys? Right? Did Glenn maybe want to pull some guys from or some players from Detroit? I mean, he definitely pulled coaches. So
that could be like, and like at the Javits point, they may not have been available, but that could be the problem though. It could be like, you need those guys that come from a winning program. Like DJ Reed kind of had that mentality where he was sick of losing, dude. Like you could see week in, week out. He was like, we got to be better. We got to be better like that. CJ Mosley.
Conklin was another guy. I'm out of here.
CJ Mosley was a guy that you could see like he wore his heart and sleeve, like he wanted to get like trying to rally everybody around him. I think Sherwood's trying that, but he's playing terribly. But that could be an issue too, where it's like these guys just don't know any better. They know they're hearing about what the standard is, but they never actually experienced being on a high level team that's winning 11 games a year.
Yeah, and it's like that. That's a real thing. Like, I mean, you can probably take that example and put it into tons of different like actual workspaces.
Yep.
Like if you have new leadership come in and they maybe bring someone like maybe their right hand or something to kind of come in and help set the tone, set the example. There is like a real trickle down effect there, but and again, it's too early to tell. When we're about like 2 months into the season, we should have a good grasp on who's leading this team, who's shrinking in the moment, who wants to be here, who doesn't want to be here. I don't know. It's it sucks being 0-2, but hopefully we can bounce back this week.
Yeah, and the thing is, and again, like you're making a really good point because even Fireman Ed said this last night too. It's like we have all this built-in frustration from other staffs before us, the Gases and the Sauer and everything else. To me, I'm not really focused too much on that. I'm more focused on what this team is doing and how they're going about their business and how they're building their program going forward. And when we're finding red flags, we're pointing them out now. Like, all right, we're not saying fire anybody, but we're saying, listen, this is on the table now. We're seeing what you're doing wrong. 10 weeks from now, you better not be doing the same thing, because next year you're not getting the same leadway. Next year should be a playoff run. You can make it run at the playoffs. You don't get a 5 years to rebuild. This is your year to assess, identify, get better. Next year, make a run at something. 10 wins, right? So it's just setting your standard and your bar and your criteria for evaluating the team as the season plays out.
Yeah. And like, who knows, man? Like, we could be doing a show in December and we can literally be talking about Aaron Glenn. You know, maybe the Jets have a whatever, they lose, right? They lose, they drop a game in December. We could be hopping on that podcast saying, you know, like, we feel really good about this game. Oh, why? Because we bounced back from that humiliating Bills loss. Yep. Remember when we went into Tampa and, you know, bounced back and everyone picked Tampa to win that game? And what's the line right now? Like 6.5 or something. Yeah. So it's pretty significant, but the Jets went out and proved that they can do it. Glenn, you know, that would be a big buy-in. And I don't know the gauge right now of player buy-in right now with the Jets, just because it's so early. But that would be huge, right? If we get blown out compared to getting a win, that just feels like a humongous momentum swing, one way or another, on what the actual, you know, feeling is, the vibe is in the locker room.
Well, this will be the perfect test to see what your buy-in is, and this team with this head coach, if they don't show up on Sunday and get their asses kicked. If they're non-competitive on Sunday, they're not buying it. His voice is going in one ear and out the other, because this is the ultimate rally where the fans are pissed off, the media's making fun of you. You're now the laughing stock in New York, because you're like, dude, you guys are just the same old Jets again. If this doesn't piss you off and motivate you to come out to put a big-time performance on Sunday, there's something clearly wrong. And it doesn't have to win, but be, again, 21-17, like, be like toe-to-toe, and you're not getting pushed around. Like, you can say, listen, all right, they put a big-time effort here. They fell short because the Buccaneers are just better.
Yep, totally. And honestly, that's what happened against Pittsburgh. If we had a better return man, if we had maybe another wide receiver, we wouldn't have. I truly believe we would not have lost that game. If Brandon Simmons picks off that ball that was in his hands with Aaron Rodgers, if Rodgers threw it right to him, if he picks that off, man, is it a different game?
Yep. No, it's
if Garrett hangs on to it, is it a different game? You know, that's what, a gain of 10, one more gain of 15, 20 could probably kick a long field goal. How much did the Jets lose by? 2. Field goal would have won the game. You know, and the vibe would have been completely different right now at 1-1 compared to 0-2. So yeah, it's a results-based business, but there has to be like critical thinking as far as what you're actually seeing in the games.
No, 100%.
Sorry, I have my cat right here. She's scratching on the window. I don't know if
mine over there is just staring at me like, dude, I want to eat dinner. He's just like, what's going on over here?
Yeah, dude, an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, this was, you know, it's just, it's tough, man, because as fans, we're frustrated. You look so forward to football season. You just want to enjoy the games. And I hate when you're watching a game and like the third quarter, I'm like, I'm done with this. I completely checked out. I watched because we're fans. You want to see how bad it can get. And it got worse. But I'm like, dude, I don't want to be through another season of this. I just don't. You just want to see something, a competitive spirit, a team they can be proud of, hard-hitting, physical, young guys getting better. And you didn't see any of that. It's just really, really frustrating, man.
Yeah, and so really, like we were talking about before, there's zero the Jets can do about that game. The only thing that they can do is go out on Sunday and try to change the narrative.
All right, so your level of confidence going into Sunday. And you're going to the game, too, so maybe you're going to give them some good luck.
So, first of all, remember when I gave the Jets a 6 last week and you roasted me for it not being high enough? We're bringing that up. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Nah, because Notre Dame's 0-2. I don't want to.
You gotta do that. You know?
We're not gonna.
Talking about bad defenses. Another guy that could get fired. Oh, that defensive coordinator. I miss Al Golden. Please bring him back. Give him half the campus. Disgrace.
Yeah, dude, bro. He's in Cincinnati, man, and I don't know. Like, everyone's down and out with this whole Burrow injury, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, point is, confidence meter, I would probably say to what, win or to look competitive?
Both.
Yeah, Rutgers is 2-0. Big game this week. Who are they playing? Iowa, I think. I'm gonna say to win the game 4. to be competitive, 7-8.
Okay. To win the game, this is where my fanboy thing kicks in right now. To win the game, I'm going to say 6. I think they're going to rally. This is a rally. This is the game they're going to win. They have to win this game. They have to. So I'm going to say win the game 6. Be competitive. I'm going to say 8. This is the week they turn it around. And if not, fear the stream next Tuesday because it's on your channel too. I won't curse, but fear the stream. If they don't show up on Sunday, dude, look out. It's going to be off the rails. I'm going to lose it. That's it. So.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. If we get blown out again, man. But here's the thing. I think, just kind of sum things up and then we can get out of here. I just feel like what was that initial domino was the horrible start. 3 and out, allowed a touchdown, fumble.
Penalty.
Penalty. Yeah, penalty on that touchdown drive. You give the ball back, more points.
Yep.
You give the ball back, more points. And it's just before you know it, you're just down and you're shell shocked. You've been hit in the mouth and you don't know what to do outside of stumble around and try to adjust on the fly. But everyone's kind of doing it for the first time outside of Wilkes. Wilkes has done this before, which is, again, why my frustration level is so high with the defense. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see this Sunday, man. We'll see. It is winnable, though. It is winnable based off of the situation.
It's a bounce back spot. This is it. This is where all my faith in Aaron Glenn comes to fruition. And I'm like, all right, we do have a team that we can believe in. This is where it is. This is going to be at Sunday. Watch.
Yeah. Well, I'll be sure to send pictures. Cross your fingers that it's not thunderstorming.
You know what's funny is the last time I went to Tampa, it poured, dude. It's like we were tailgating, and all of a sudden these clouds came out of nowhere within like 10 minutes. And all of a sudden it just started pouring. I'm like, what? And it was humid as hell. It was disgusting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean the hockey team is called the Lightning for a reason, man. Like it's crazy, bro. I was merging onto the highway a couple years ago, and I was looking out the window just on big patch of grass, like it was a part of a golf course. Mm-hmm. It was raining, whatever. I'm looking, and all of it, like just whatever, quickly glancing out the window, this bolt of lightning just comes crashing down, just feet away from my car, dude. It was insane. Just the noise, bro. Like I felt the whole car just rattle. I'm like, it's insane. Yeah, thankfully there hasn't been anything like that since, but no, man, it's hot, it's humid. Which is also, the Jets have had the 2 games up in Jersey, so this will be somewhat of a transition for them. Like I know people talk about like Denver, like Mile High, and like playing in Buffalo, playing in Cleveland. But bro, you see like these northern teams come down to Florida, and now like this time of year, it's not the biggest deal, but like in December, like if you have to go to Miami, to Tampa, it does play effect.
No, with hydration, sports nutrition, sports science. But hopefully Aaron Glenn and his staff are on top of it, though. So thank you guys for all joining us. I know this is probably an hour and a half vent session, but I think we're all frustrated, and we all want the same thing, to watch fun winning football at some point and see this team turn it around. So Ian has no confidence. I have plenty of confidence in my team because
bro, I'm just thinking about like next week's show can either be amazing or just like a 2-hour
disaster
shredding of a team. And the possibility of that is just like anything can happen. Like who knows?
Yep. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. There's a lot of other streams out there, and you joining us, it's really awesome. And thank you for all the super chats too. And next week, I know Ian's praying for a win because it's on his channel. I behave on his channel. On my channel, I don't care. On your channel, I behave a little bit more. So he's praying for a good performance.
Bro, I want you to do your thing, man. I want you to do your thing. One of my favorite things about your channel is I just love how you don't do things for clicks. You don't like sell out and stuff. So
yeah, I don't care.
I always want you to do your thing.
Thank you guys for joining us. Enjoy the game on Sunday, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
J-E-T-S-J-J-J